Hi everybody, it's Jennifer Nichols. I just gave away a brush set to my newsletter subscribers. Everybody can get those. In fact, when you sign up, you can get access to all of the past freebies that you've missed. They're all Procreate, so it's just for Procreate users. For this set of brushes that I just gave out, I wanted to come and show you how I use them and also how to make some small changes to them. I am about to publish a class on making dual brushes in Procreate, and I will walk you through the entire process for making a couple other types of dual brushes and also some just like this. So for today, I'm just going to show you a couple minor things that you can do with these brushes. I'm going to turn this layer off and I'm on a new layer, and here's the new brushes. I have, let's see, it looks like 7 dual brushes all the way down to this cosmic void, and that indicates the end of the dual brushes. And then I've also included the single brushes that I used to combine and make the dual brushes with. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, these 3 down here as well. These 2 are just some fun little sprinkle brushes. I just included those because they're super fun. And then these 2 are just some ways to add some more bigger stars on your page if you want to. This one is actually one that's going to turn super bright in the middle if you double tap that one. And this one just stays the color you put it on. But you can go into that brush and go to rendering and change this blend mode to add, and then it will do the same thing that this one did and get super bright in the middle. All right, back up to this first brush. This one doesn't have a lot of pressure sensitivity, and I made that way on purpose. I was thinking about Tinkerbell and pixie dust, and I wanted to be able to do a swoop-de-swoop and do, all sorts of fun things like that without it getting super big. So you can adjust the size still, but you have a lot of control over the size. So that's that brush. Then the rest of them are very pressure sensitive, and some of them just have some minor changes, some minor differences. So if you press really lightly to start with and then start pressing harder, you get this really fun look with this cloudy background and speckles here. And this second one, the other soft cloud one, is very similar, but it has a slightly different cloud. And it's got bigger stars and slightly different cloud. And I really thought I would use both of them and have fun with both of them. So even though they're super similar, I kept them both. So the fade out starburst brush is really nice if you start out really light and then press. That streak fades out to nothing and the stars keep going. But they are both the color that you have selected. The purple haze you see there is just because I do have some purple in the background and the opacity is letting that come through. So that's that brush. I know I haven't shown you how to make any changes yet. This one has a nice band of squiggly lines going through, and it adds up to a brighter, like the colors end up with kind of an add blend mode. They get brighter as you layer them up, so that's fun. And the Starburst Rainbow Dust. So you can put that to white and it's going to be rainbowy still. The sparkles are going to be white and the stars are going to be rainbowy. And that was pretty exciting for me to figure out. So it's just because dual brushes, you can only have color variation on the top one. And I wanted that to be rainbow while the bottom one was white. So it was a little tricky. And then the Cosmic Void has this void in the middle, which I'm not sure how useful that will be, but I thought it was fun, and so I included that. The rest of them are just going to be the single brushes that you can use in addition. You can use them separately, or let's say you have something like this, and you want to add some more stars to it. So maybe some rainbow stars. For this one, you do need to pick a color. I'm going to pick a blue and add some rainbow stars to it. The colors on this one are more analogous, so they just are kind of picking about 3 colors. And I can add more without adding more of the cloudy background and stuff. So that's a great reason to use some of the single brushes. And then you can also get a dual brush look by using them separately to begin with. So maybe you have this streak like this, and then you have the cosmic starburst dust maybe on a lighter color. Maybe you don't want them to be the same color when you're using them. Like in dual brush, they were both very yellow, right? So this is a nice way to get a different look than you get with the dual brush. And then you can also erase some of that, maybe with an airbrush. So quickly, just to show you, I'm just going to pick this cloudy cosmic dust brush to show you how you can make some changes. So let's say you don't like how the clouds are so spaced out. There's a gap here and a gap here, and they also kind of are all over the place. There's some over here and some over there. I don't know if you can see that super well. So I would recommend duplicating the brush so that you leave an original alone, and then tapping on that one and going to the first one, which is the clouds there. As long as it's selected with the blue bar over here, you know that the edits are being applied to that brush. So you can make a stripe over here, and then that will help you see what your changes are going to do to the brush. So with gaps going along your stroke, that's the spacing. So you can decrease your spacing if you don't like so many gaps. And then also the jitter is what is making it go back and forth like this. So your stroke was straight down, but there's some over here, and there's some over here, and there's some over here. And if you don't really like that, you just decrease the jitter. And then this is an okay place to test your brushes, but it's best to just tap done and test over here. Well, now that's a much more streaky look to that cloudy brush, but it's also much more narrow than the stars themselves. So I'm going to go back into it, make sure the blue bar is over here, and I'm going to go to properties and make it a bigger brush. You can make a stripe here and see really how big it gets. So now, yeah, it's more in line with the width of the stars themselves. It's quite noticeable, and that might be a look that you want, but if you want to make that cloudy part a little bit more faded, you could go to rendering and turn the flow down and test it out now with that. Oh, we turned it down quite a bit apparently, and it's barely noticeable. So we can go back and turn it back up a little bit. Yeah, that's good. So that's all I wanted to show you today. Making some simple adjustments. So again, we went to the cloudy version of this dual brush, and we changed the spacing and the jitter, and then we just changed the flow a little bit in the rendering. If you want to learn more about making dual brushes, right now it's February 10th, 2022. And next week I will be releasing a Skillshare class on making dual brushes, and you can learn all my tips and tricks. There's not a lot of information out there, so hopefully it will be helpful information. We'll be making some of these brushes from scratch, from ground zero, not just editing something that already exists. And by making a brush that starts from ground zero, you're going to learn a lot about the process and what the different settings do. So, hope to see you in class. Go ahead and go to the link in the description to get over to my Skillshare profile. There is a free trial if you're not already on Skillshare. I already have about 40 classes over there and 4 brush making classes. So you can get started on brush making classes if you are curious about that. I tell you, it'll save you a lot of money. I also give away a lot of brushes in my classes. For this particular class, I don't because we're making brushes, but definitely check out my other classes, and I'll see you around.